Even if you don't believe it, Charles Barkley isn't giving up. The player, who is now in the Hall of Fame and works as an analyst for TNT, doubled down on his negative comments about Warriors star Klay Thompson. In this video, I have brought to you the news of how Stephen Curry tackled Barkley after he criticized Klay Thompson. Make sure you stick with me until the end of this video to get the full gist. Without any further delay, let's get to the video. Stephen Curry tackles Charles Barkley after his criticism of Klay Thompson.
There was a time when Klay Thompson was the best two-way guard in the NBA, and he's not the same guy.
Barkley said on Inside the NBA after the Phoenix Suns and Minnesota Timberwolves game, which showed all over the country that he was upset and that he took it personally. He thought Thompson was the best two-way guard in the NBA a few years ago, but he's not the same player because of his age and injuries. Barkley never called him a bum. He just said that Thompson was a different player. Then Ernie Johnson, the show's host, asked Barkley if he expected Thompson would be the same player. Barkley told him no, but he was talking about what he had seen since the finals. Barkley said that time isn't your friend as you age. He had trouble because he loved Klay. Barkley said the player used to be the best two-way guard in the NBA, but age and injuries have changed him. In Barkley's last 2 years in the NBA, he wasn't worth a damn. Kenny Smith defended Thompson and tried to figure out what the five-time NBA All-Star meant when he said he was hurt by Barkley's comments and needed time to get back to who he was. Thompson said this at the end of a recent press conference. Smith said that he knew what Barkley was talking about, but to Smith, Barkley was bringing it into the current moment. He meant that he was going up, and he needed time to get to where he was. So Smith judged him based on where he was today, not where he thought he would be in the future. Shaquille O'Neal also tried to protect Thompson during the rest of the 4-minute conversation. Shaq said that he thought a lot of guys would have liked a little more respect for what he's done and how he did it. Barkley responded, "Shaq, we've got to do our jobs." Shaq thought he could have gotten a little more respect, and as he said, he should be given a little time to get back. And if he isn't back by the playoffs before, Barkley probably can make that comment because the season just started. Barkley said that if a person has 2 serious injuries, he will only get older. He further said that those days were over when he admitted that Thompson was the best two-way guard in the NBA. He said that Thompson could still be a great NBA player and that Ernie and everyone else get old, which is fine. The only point he was trying to make was that those 2 injuries were a factor. Thompson had a slow start to the 2022-23 season, but the Warriors' 116-109 loss to the Miami Heat on Tuesday was one of his best games. Thompson has played 7 games this season and averaged 13.3 points per game. He scored 19 points against the Heat, but after the Warriors beat the Heat on October 27th, Thompson spent the last 90 seconds of his post-game press conference calling Barkley out for his first comments, in which he said that Thompson and Draymond Green's careers were going downhill at this point. Thompson said last week that it hurts when someone with as much influence as Charles Barkley said that he was not the same player he was before he got injured. Thompson said he tore his ACL and Achilles back-to-back years but still helped the team win a championship. It's hard to even describe what he went through to become the player he was. He said that in 3 years he had played about 57 games. Thompson requested of him saying, "Give me some time to get that back, will you?" He didn't like hearing that he wasn't the same player he was before his injuries because it's not easy to go through that and come back with the same amount of energy. He said he would take it to heart and use it to push himself to improve. He talked about how proud he was of what they did last year and how he felt like a big part of it. The Warriors have played 8 games so far this year. Thompson has played in 7 of them. During the summer, he didn't play any pickup basketball and only played in 1 preseason game. He is known for being a slow starter, but he is 100% sure he will get back to the All-Star level at some point. Next up, let's talk about how the end of Klay Thompson's Warriors honeymoon is hard to watch. It hurts, especially seeing Klay Thompson fight for his honor. Until then, he had been a legend in the NBA and a cool guy. He was lucky and everything he touched turned to gold. He appeared to be having a bit of a reverse King Midas moment. Charles Barkley was hard hurt because he didn't get enough playing time, because his first ejection was a big deal, though fans who have always supported him are getting upset, and beat writers casually said he might retire soon. Klay's post-injury honeymoon seemed to be coming to an end quickly. That might make sense, but it's not even close to fair. He will tell you that it has seemed like everyone wants to forget that he just helped the Golden State Warriors win their 4th championship in 8 years. But we don't have to talk about his credentials or what he has done repeatedly. He is one of the most well-known people in the world. It sounds silly and exaggerated, but it's true. Thompson has put everything everything into this franchise. He was known as the Teflon Splash Brother for a long time. When the Warriors were having trouble, people could blame Kerr's lineup changes, Curry's lack of effort, and Draymond Green's volcanic outburst. When Klay played well, Golden State couldn't be stopped, and when he didn't, it was probably someone else's fault. Since he came back from his injuries in the middle of last season, that has not been the case at all, even though he gave the team an emotional boost just by being there. If you look at Thompson's last week or two, there isn't anything bad about it. In what sick world is he getting mad at Devin Booker during a big loss, a moral failing? It's even poetic. Klay Thompson has been Steph Curry's Luigi for a long time, and in Devin Booker, he has found his Waluigi, the dark copy, a stoic gunner who is made of the same weird stuff. Even though Thompson made one more basket than Booker, it was clear that Booker won their recent matchup in Phoenix. Thompson is usually as calm as a cucumber, even when he is angry and showing off. That was why his first ejection and the subsequent barking and ring swinging at Booker were shocking and unsettling. It was clear that all of that was crushing him, and it was sad to witness it happen in real time. Yes, Thompson's personality sometimes goes off script, but things like "that freaking bum" are usually meant to be funny. But what happened with Booker was petulant, which is not a word that is usually used to describe Klay. He doesn't have to act like a brat. He's Game 6 Klay. He's the most interesting guy on the team. He's got to that point because his honor had been upset repeatedly in front of many people. Regarding Golden State, Charles Barkley is like a shark sniffing out chum. Barkley's comments about Thompson slipping were about what you would expect from a sports commentator. It wasn't exactly mean, but it didn't seem like it was needed. It shouldn't be controversial to say that an NBA player over 30 who had 2 back-to-back injuries that ended his season wasn't quite the same when he returned. Barkley didn't have to pick on Thompson when he was down, but he did so anyway, maybe to add to the joy he usually feels when the Golden State Warriors lose a game. People being surprised that Thompson hasn't returned to form since the 2019 finals is a little hard to believe. Maybe they thought they would know immediately what the Warriors had in Klay Thompson after he got hurt. It was a lot of things at once, and yes, it is frustrating to see your favorite team go downhill. The Warriors have already lost more games in their first 6 games than they did in their first 20 games last year. It must be a terrible pain for Thompson. Professional athletes already have to deal with unfair and arbitrary expectations. After what he's been through, it's not a crime that he's not always great. Since Thompson returned, he has been stuck in a live-streamed panopticon while talking head vultures try to circle his body. We're not going to do that though. Steve Kerr and the rest of the team will make it work, or they won't. But Klay Boat Guy Thompson has earned the right to stumble, as long as he needs to, more than almost anyone else who has played for this team. That's all we have for this video. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to more videos like this. We'll see you next time.